We all have visions of how it will be. When we leave this life, we hope to be surrounded by family and friends who will tell us they love us as we peacefully and painlessly slip away to begin our new journey. Unfortunately, for many of us and our loved ones, this scenario never occurs. Emergency services and other medical intervention are life-saving devices. But there comes a time in many people's lives when all medical possibilities are considered to be of limited use. When faced with a terminal disease or an event that incapacitates us, the issue then is to take control of our lives by deciding the way we want to die. The time to make these decisions is now, before we are unable to speak for ourselves. We can control how we die with legal documents that let our families and our doctors know what we want them to do when we're facing the end of life. Those documents are called advance directives. Perhaps the most well-known advance directive is the Advance Care Plan, formerly called the Living Will. This document specifies how you want to be treated if faced with specific situations such as a terminal illness or accident that leaves you permanently unable to communicate. The Advance Care Plan is an essential document for those who wish to specify their end-of-life wishes. The Living Will Advance Care Plan works hand in hand with another directive called Appointment of Healthcare Agent, formerly called the Durable Power of Attorney for Healthcare. This document lets you name a person to make sure your wishes are respected by healthcare providers and members of your family if you cannot communicate. This is the person that will make the hard decisions based on what you want after considering the assessment by your physicians. If you don't pick a person to act as your healthcare agent, you are opening the door for conflict in your family. Without both an advance care plan and appointment of healthcare agent forms, you are opening the door for a nightmare. A nightmare like the one experienced by the Garcia family.
On that day when I brought my wife to hospice, her brother and mother were there visiting, and they came along to hospice. And when my mother-in-law noticed that the tube feeding is not being given, she questioned it. And my daughter explained to her that that is the wish of Grace. And not long from that, that was Monday, Wednesday we got a subpoena from court that there would be a hearing whether the tube feeding will be terminated or not. So in that court hearing, the judge issued a temporary injunction wherein the tube feeding will be restored, and in the subsequent hearing, it was made permanent. It is very sad because I know that Grace would not like this.
It was a very painful experience. In a time like that, you expect that your family members there are to support you, but because of the lack of the living will, it actually split, caused division within our family, and it was painful to see my mother's sisters going to court against us. And in a time like that, the family needs to be close. And because we didn't have that document signed, my mother's quality of life was diminished at that point, being in that coma state and not being able to be released as what she would want. It was unfortunate that it wasn't signed.
After about a year, the Garcia family was able to get the court order reversed and allowed their beloved wife and mother to die.
We not only lost our mom, we also lost half of our family in the result of it, and it's still fractured at this time, although, you know, it's something that everybody has to heal from. We have to deal with losing Mom, and we have to deal with what we've done with each other.
It is a very expensive process, especially if if you don't have that written living will. It will facilitate things if you say it in writing very clearly what you want done to you.
But even if Grace Garcia had a living will, that wouldn't have been enough to prevent the family conflict. She also needed to designate someone with durable power of attorney for health care to make decisions for her. If Grace Garcia had advance directives, her wishes would have been clear and unchallenged after the extent of her brain damage was known. Her curative care in the form of the life-sustaining feeding tube would have been permanently suspended. Curative care is the form of medicine that attempts to restore health with drugs, surgery, and other available resources. Hospice care is the next step after the recognition that curative care is no longer beneficial to the patient. Hospice care is comfort care that acknowledges that the end of life is near. Hospice care takes care of the physical, emotional, and spiritual needs of the patient. Patients like Snowdy Green had both advance directives in place when she died from chronic disease. Her daughter Frida was glad the paperwork was in place.
She had very explicitly stated appropriately and legally what she wanted done. So at that particular time in her life, all I had to do was to follow those directives, and I did not have the emotional stress that was associated or could have been associated with her death. When an individual's wishes are in place, you take comfort in knowing that you are doing what it is that they wanted done. And what you are doing is adding to the quality of their life at the particular time that the end of life appears to be near.
The need for advance directives is obvious for those who want their end-of-life wishes honored. But remember, these are legal documents, and you must follow required procedures before the documents are considered valid. In 2004, the state of Tennessee changed the living will document to the Advance Care Plan document. And the durable power of attorney for healthcare document became the appointment of healthcare agent document. The Advance Care Plan also includes the appointment of a healthcare agent within the form and would not require you to complete another form. However, if you are not ready to make decisions outlined in the Advance Care Plan and would like to select a designated agent only, a separate form is available called the Appointment of Healthcare Agent. If you already have an older living will or durable power of attorney for healthcare form in place, those documents have been grandfathered in and are legal binding documents. The Advance Care Plan and Appointment of Healthcare Agent forms must each be signed and either witnessed by two people or notarized. Witnesses can now include family members and healthcare providers. These forms are readily available from healthcare providers, legal resources, and online at tennessee.gov/health.
I can't encourage people enough to have things in place. It's not an easy thing to think about, and terminal illness is not an easy thing to think about. Typically, you think about terminal illness being associated with older people, but that isn't necessarily true. Terminal illness can be any age, and if those things are in place and they are known by family members, you have the patient's wishes, and you can follow those wishes. And secondly, you have comfort in knowing that you are doing those kinds of things.
We are a poster family for the living will. Unfortunately, but necessarily so. I don't hesitate to tell my friends and everyone about living wills.
There is absolutely no question that the quality of life is enhanced for a patient when the advanced directives are in place.
If we take steps now, chances are we will die the way we want, privately and pain-free, with our families at our side and not in the courtroom. The end of life. We all have our visions of how it will be, and we all hope it will be peaceful.